If I were to give you a test right now, purely over 2-3, show me thumbs. I got it. A little fuzzy. I got no freaking clue what's going on. That's what I thought. Okay? So here's the deal. We ain't even doing daily quiz. Okay? Instead, we're going straight to homework questions, and I will do the entire assignment with you if we need to. Because I'm betting we got some sketchiness out there. Okay? Now, if you haven't figured it out already, there's a lot of things where another teacher might get riled up about something. I don't care. I believe in being honest with yourself and with other people. Sometimes brutal honesty, but I don't care. If we just cut the crap and got to the point, there'd be a lot less hurt feelings because people would have just said what they meant. So, be honest. How many of you did the assignment yourself? Okay, that's what I thought. Now, along those lines, get back here. We're going to talk about conferences. Okay? Yes, they did. They actually did. See, unlike a lot of teachers, I actually thoroughly enjoy conferences. Okay? Okay. So here's the deal. I went back and checked the numbers. Every single one of those kids, less than 50% of your work turned in. Every single one. Now all of a sudden, I really don't care about that graph because that's all on you. Y'all know the Spartan time list that comes out. It doesn't mean too much to you right now because as freshmen, you're stuck in Spartan time no matter what. It matters for eligibility. But y'all know if you get all A's and B's, every reporting period all the way through, fourth quarter, they let you go at 205 like all the upperclassmen. So maybe in that respect it matters. You talk to anyone else who's not a freshman, that Spartan time list is like life and death to them because they want out. It's not something you just get. It's not something that's my job to get you out of Spartan time. It's a special privilege for someone who's doing what they're supposed to. To be on the Spartan time list, that means you have a D or an F, or both, or multiple in your classes. Y'all want to guess how many freshmen are on it? Out of 220 freshmen, there are 106 who have a D and F, multiple or both. Half of your class. And I have that conversation with parents, and I let them know, y'all, freshman gonna freshman. Like, we get our F and Spartan time list data back after reporting period, and we compare it to the last 8 years. No. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst. Freshman gonna freshman. It is normal for freshmen to come in and get just right upside the head with reality. You gotta do the work. That's it. Just do the work. You'll be fine. Okay? Most freshmen, that's the problem, is they're just not doing the work. Okay? Good thing I accept every bit of late work. Maybe you should go back and do that stuff. Okay? More importantly, when I go through everything that I have told you, y'all been listening to me say this for a while, right? You've been listening to me say for 6 weeks, conferences are going to be awkward because a parent is going to sit here next to their kid and I'm going to tell them that you have open notes, open book, open every single resource on every assessment you do in here. That the solutions are online. That I'm in the building free for assistance for 50 hours a week. Before school, after school, lunch, Spartan time, my Maroons prep too if you happen to have academic life skills or a resource room. If that's not enough, we have Remind. You have a tutor in a friggin' pocket. You're working on your homework at 10 o'clock at night. Snap a picture of what you're working on and send it to me. The next time I'm conscious and I see it, I will answer. I tell them that. And you see their jaws start to drop and their eyes get wider. And then I tell them, yeah, and then we do stuff for a couple of days, and then we'll do a review and a quiz. Review, quiz. And I told you for 6 weeks, parents going to turn and look at their kid and commit murder. I had 19 amazing conversations last night, and I heard 14 times, holy hell, where were you when I was in school? They wish they had this. I heard several parents tell their students sitting right there, do you know how lucky you are? No one does this. Everything that I'm giving you, teachers don't do that. It's on a silver platter. All you got to do is pick up the frickin' fork. I had that conversation in the last week 3 dozen times. I didn't have a single parent walk out of the room that wasn't smiling, laughing, or at the very least relieved because, oh, it's actually not that hard. My kid just needs to pull their head out. Okay? Please start doing your work, those of you who aren't. There's a reason that half of the class is at D or F, and it's not because I ain't doing anything, it's because you're not doing anything. Step up. For those of you who are doing what you're supposed to, great, awesome, cool. Do more. Something's a little bit fuzzy, ask a question on Remind. You're all in white 4. What's wrong with staying after school for 10 minutes and just asking a question? Okay? It's not that big of a deal, y'all. I don't want to have that awkward conversation with parents again. If your folks did not come in, if I did not specifically talk to them, don't think you're off the hook either. I'm making a point of talking to every single kid's parents for a freshman. I also want you to be aware that I had multiple requests last night for changes in seating. You know, if you are sitting next to someone that causes you distraction, you might want to handle that before your parents request that I handle it for you. Okay? It's supposed to be relaxed. It's supposed to be fun. Even if you don't like math. But you got to do the thing. Now, even though I only got about 2 questions in the last 3 days, I know that there are questions. So start from the top. Anything in that homework that's sketchy. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Option number 1. Well, you know what? Before I even start, when I say v over -1 or -8, what is that as a fraction out in front of v? We did like 3 of these. Okay. 6 plus a -1/8 v. Grab a calculator. Now, if I say plus a -1/8, are y'all cool with me just saying -1/8? Right? 6 minus 1/8 of a v. Grab a calculator. You don't even have to think as long as you know what goes where. You let the calculator do all the heavy lifting for you. My job isn't to teach you arithmetic. That was elementary school, middle school. My job is to teach you algebra. Who's got to go away first to get that v by itself? How do I know I'm subtracting it, not adding it? It's just a 6. If it's a positive 6, I get rid of it with a -6. Now let's say I see 4/7 and -6. Do I have to turn this into -42/7? I could just grab my calculator instead and say 4/7? Not you. 4/7? 4/7. There we go. You can just say 4/7 minus 6. Let the calculator do the work for you. Okay? Just let it do that for you. Get -38/7. What do I do when something's smashed up on V? What are they doing right now? So if they're multiplying, I'm going to let the calculator do it for you. I don't care. There's nothing wrong with now saying divided by -1/8, divided by -1/8, and letting the calculator do it for you, divided by -1/8. Let it do it for you. Yes, ma'am.
I got the correct answer, but that is not at all how I did it.
I know there's other ways. I said I was going to do more than one. This is if you just don't even want to think. Subtract the thing, divide the thing. Let the calculator do everything for me. All right, fine, great. The other way was, I don't like fractions. Fractions are hard. So make it so there's no fractions. I see a something over 8 and a something over 7. What is the smallest number that 8 and 7 both go into? So take this whole honkin' thing times 56. 56 times 6. 56 times a -1/8. The trick was divide it by 8, then times 1. Right? Because there's a little invisible 1 right there. Okay. So minus 7v is, do it again. Take 56 divided by 7, which is times 4. If you don't like fractions, make the fractions go away. Now what? Exactly what we were doing before, right? Subtract 336. Get -7v is -330 or -304. Divide. Awesome. Put it on the other pile back there by the charger with the other ones. I'll sort them out later. You still get the same answer. One of them involves working with fractions, the other one doesn't. You get the choice. Last I saw, most people preferred this. They would rather deal with big number than fraction number, given a choice. Okay. Oh, Sailor's going to kick you in the shins or she's going to kick you in the teeth. Most people are going to say shins, right? Even if you don't like either option, there's still a worse option. So pick the one that causes less pain. Fire some more. Get down here. Come on, Frank. Not you. You. What do every one of those go into? 3, 5, and 15. Could I say 30? Could I say 45? Could I say 225? Are you sure? Do they all go into 225? I might just be pulling numbers out of an orifice. Who knows?
They all go into 15.
Okay. 3 goes into 225 75 times. 5 goes into 225. What's that? 45 times. 15 goes into 225 15 times. They do all go in there. Take this times 15. I'm going to write it this way, so I'm kind of writing it backwards. If I take 15 divided by 15, I get uno times 31. If I take 15 divided by 5, I get 3 times 3m. If I take 15 divided by 3, I get 5 times 2. Doesn't it look so much nicer now? If you don't like the fractions, get rid of the fractions. And then, on down the rabbit hole you go. Subtract 10 because it's a positive 10. Show it zeros out. Bring your 9m down. Divide. When you divide, be careful. The difference between a 4 out of 5 on a problem versus a 5 out of 5 on the problem is whether I finish this. What do I still need to do? I can always reduce. They both are divisible by 3. Call that 7/3. You know what? I have no idea how to reduce fractions. Okay. 21 over 9. Hey Siri, what's 21 over 9? Let it do it for you. If you're in high school, the supposition is that you already know how to do fractions because you kind of did it for a few years. If we don't know how to do fractions, well, then it's time to practice or have the tool do it for us. Same thing here. What do 4, 5, and 20 all go into? 20 itself. Multiply the whole honking thing by 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1 times 11. 20 divided by 5 is 4 times 4x. 20 divided by 4 is 5 times 1. Same thing, new numbers. You still do the same process. Okay, it's the same process. Alternatively, was there a 6? What? Where? Yeah, it's been a long week. Yeah, it is. Okay, that's important though, because then that's when I divide by 16. You still have to divide, right? They're divisible by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 18 divided by 2 is 8. Okay. There you are. First blood. Okay. Now, here's another part of it. I don't have to do all of this if I just write on my paper subtract 1/4, subtract 1/4. Divide by 4/5, divide by 4/5. Let the calculator do it for you. 11/20 minus 1/4. Divide it by 4/5. Oh, come on. Oh, that's right. You actually need to put the 5 in the box. Let the calculator do the work for you, but actually press the button. Okay? More. We got to be able to do fractions now because we're just going to keep throwing more things in the equation. 48. First step. I got that 0.25 hugged up on my equation. You know what? There, now we got room. Distribute. Do I also bring it to the 4, though? Okay, because the parentheses end. So you only go to the stuff inside the parentheses. You say 0.25 d minus, do you know off the top of your head what 0.25 times 12 is? It is 3. Well, it's going to be minus the 3, or you say it's times a negative 12 and then you get a negative 3. Either way, same thing. If you don't know, grab a calculator. Let it do it for you. I hope we know what a quarter of 12 is, though. Who's got to go? Okay, so add 3, add 3. Show it zeros out. 0.25 times something is 7. That's a quarter, right? 0.25? How many quarters go into $7? 28, right? A quarter in every dollar. There's 7 of them. Divide by that 0.25, or technically what you're really doing is multiplying by 4. They're both the same thing. Multiplying by the reciprocal is the same as dividing by something. More. It looked like only about 4 of you out of 28 even did the assignment. Come on. What was ugly? What didn't we like? Was there words? Was there? The 3 part that you added to.
The first equation that you drew, the one that you modified, the first one, there's a negative already there, and you said it would turn into a negative 3, right? So then wouldn't it be a positive 3?
Freshman. You mean from here to here?
Yeah.
Okay, so whether I have 0.25 times d plus a negative 12, or 0.25 times d minus 12. Here, I get 0.25d plus a negative 3. Here, I get 0.25d and a 3, and the negative just drops. But whether I add a negative 3 or I just subtract 3, they're the same thing. It's a matter of preference. If you like doing this, go for it. If you like doing that, go for it. I don't care. Hey, how about this? How about I back all the way up to the beginning and say, what is 0.25 doing to the parentheses? They're multiplying. How do you undo multiply? So take 4 divided by 0.25. How many quarters go into $4? Add 12. Same difference. Yeah, I saw the thing. You good? Don't suck. So, more? Question mark? 42. I want G by its lonesome. Who's got to go away? Do what with it? Why did we change that? Right? It's a positive number. I'm going to subtract it. Y'all remember your place value business, right? 2 minus 2, gone. 6 minus 1, 5. 8 minus 1, 7. And then divide again. Do you know off the top of your head? It is 6, yes. Okay. If you don't, grab a calculator and check it. Okay, what if I didn't want to do that? Y'all know that you can just take this times 100? Why would I specifically use 100? This goes out to the hundredths place value, right? If I don't want decimals, get rid of decimals. 100 times this thing moves decimal 2 places. Moves it 2 places. Moves it 2 places. You see it's going to do the same thing, right? It just doesn't have the decimal in the way. But maybe that's your preference because you just don't like decimals. Come at me.
51.
Now, are we actually doing the 51? Like,
Not done any of them. I'm just throwing out changes.
you're just throwing out numbers. Okay. So instead of just throwing out random numbers, I see a class of kids that may or may not have done the assignment, but that do not feel confident on it yet.
Did we do 38? That was like
That one's difficult.
38 is difficult? There we go. Now we're asking. 38.
No, just
30.
Oh, I heard 38. Okay.
mid-30s. You can do that.
So you don't have to do anything. The denominators are the same, right?
Since they're all 13s,
Then you just minus 3d.
If I multiply every one of them, they're all going to cancel.
Yes.
So b minus 3b is 8. 1 banana minus 3 bananas is negative 2 bananas. Divide. Now, how many of you, your b is not that distinguishable from a 6? And you get lost in your own handwriting. If you're not working with a formula where the variable stands for something very specific, so it needs to stay that way, like y'all in physical science, right? How about speed is distance over time? Or maybe it's v for velocity. I don't like that because velocity is supposed to include a vector. I've always hated that they do that in physical science to you. Oh, okay. So technically velocity is your speed and direction. So, okay, all right. In this one, I can't change d over to x because I feel like it. Because d stands for something specific, distance. In this problem, does b stand for something specific? It's an unknown. It's a variable. Variables are chosen however you want to. Could I have rewritten that as x? In fact, I saw some of you doing this on your quizzes without intending to. Halfway through a problem that didn't have x's, you just started writing x's. Because we're just kind of trained to do that. Go ahead. If your b's look like 6's, your 5's look like s's, your t's look like pluses, just change a variable. That's why we use x on so many things. It's also why we stopped using x for multiply. Okay. Utters. Okay. So we're going to have a rare instance here. I told 19 different families last night, I can't help if you don't ask. I can't help you with the thing if you won't even do the thing in the first place. You have over 50 minutes. We're going to work. We're going to practice. Let's see if you can work with your neighbors or ask me to ensure that you are doing it correctly. Okay? We're going to practice, and we ain't doing all this. Not even close. But this is one of the few times, and I'm going to toss out this piece of paper. I don't like doing this. But sometimes we just need a little bit of practice. No, I want you working in groups if you're actually working. Did I get you, Tommy?
What?
Do you have one there or three?
I got 2.
Oh, okay. Now, I don't want to do all this. No way, no how.
I'd like to do 3 if you're up for suggestions.
"50 minutes, 20 problems." I'd say that's fair. Okay. Now, I might be up here working. I might be rolling around the room looking if you need help. You can do odds. If there's not enough room on here for you, then don't try to cram it in here. Just do it in a separate sheet of paper. In fact, if you're one of those kids that keeps all of your homework just in one notebook, probably be a good idea to just do it in that notebook like a normal assignment. Okay? Just make sure you label it 2-3 practice. And while you're doing these, write it out. I don't want you coming to me with the paper that has just answers on it. If you come to me with a paper full of only answers and no work, I ain't going to believe you. Okay? So that's it. That's what we're doing. I want you to work on this. Towards the end of class, we might go through parts of it together. Maybe I'll just throw the answers up there. I don't know. If you have questions, then ask. If it's something that a lot of people are stuck on, I'll do it up here for everyone. But you have time to practice and ask questions of myself and your peers. So please use it wisely. All right? When you come on Tuesday, then we'll do our 2-3 daily quiz. Then we'll move on to the next section. Or no, you're not Tuesday. You're Wednesday.